there's songs that I've written over the years. I have really eclectic taste in music. I listen to a lot of country music and reggae, and funk, and show tunes, and all different kinds of stuff. So just as a songwriter, I like to kind of try to expand and see if I could write songs like that. And I have over the years, but nobody's ever heard them. They've just been sitting like on tapes in my house. So I've been doing these solo tours kind of in my free time just to keep myself occupied, and I figured that maybe I'll just see, you know, if anybody was interested in hearing all that stuff that I wrote.
Yeah. Well, it did really well.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
It's like the iTunes top 10 alternative albums. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Considering I like recorded it, I wrote it and I recorded it, and then I put it out like 2 weeks later, like. And on the there's no label, there's no there's not even a barcode on the CD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the Billboard actually like contacted my publicist and asked for like the UPC scan. He was like, "There's no barcode on the CD."
That's
and they like freaked out because it's a demo. You know what I mean? As far as like that sort of terminology goes, you know what I mean? It's not really like an actual release. It's not in stores. It's not like it doesn't exist outside of like
that's crazy.
My house. Like, you know what I mean? I have boxes of it in my basement, and then I ship it out myself to people who buy it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you really self-released it.
Absolutely. I like all the pre-orders. Like I stuffed the envelopes and wrote the addresses myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So with I guess just not with this album specifically, but overall, what's your writing process like?
I always start with a guitar, like kind of a chord progression. Then I hum a melody over it, usually just like la la la's.
Yeah.
And then that kind of starts developing, and then I bring that to the band, and they start adding their kind of twist onto it. And then the last thing I do is write lyrics to fit into the la la la's that are like placeholders.
Okay.
I just thought that this was, you know, with it being my first solo release, you know, I kind of figured I was going to be building this sort of new kind of building for myself. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's the theme, I guess.
Not really, only because the songs have been written over the course of like 7 years,
right.
So it's kind of hard to like. There's not really much of a lyrical theme to the record, you know, because they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm. So what about specifically song-wise, Charleston? I'm really curious.
Charleston's just about like me. You know, it's about being in a band and kind of my life. I guess it's mainly when we talk about this all the time on this tour, actually, because we're all like lead singers who are like kind of in the spotlight all the time, and none of us are those types of people, you know. And that's what that song's about. It's about like growing up as not a cool kid and not the center of attention, because I spent all my time when I was younger, like focusing on music and trying to get better and writing songs, and I was alone a lot, and that made me weird at the time, you know. But now I'm like the singer in this like band, and like people are, you know, are always looking at me, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? So it's funny how you wind up in jobs that you really shouldn't wind up in. You know, you're not cut out for.
So it was like last January. You said you weren't going to do a solo. Put anything solo out?
Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember saying that, but somebody told me that recently.
So what changed your mind from then to now?
I guess just people asking for it.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of, as I was doing the solo tours, like people kept asking me every show when I was going to do it. And I guess the main reason I didn't want to is because I didn't want to be like one of those like artists who thought that like anything they did was worth hearing. You know what I mean? I always figured like if this stuff has just been sitting around on cassette tapes in my basement for years, maybe it should stay there, you know. But people kept asking for it. I was like, all right. I mean, if they like it, then they like it. If they don't, they don't. I guess I might as well put it out.
Yeah. So you've collaborated with a good amount of artists. Do you have like a wish list for like future collaborations? My
only real wish is I really love like piano-driven music. You know, there's definitely some of that on New Cathedrals. There's a lot of like organ-driven songs and piano-driven songs, and Ben Folds is one of my favorite songwriters ever, and such a badass piano player. So that's been my answer for years. The question is, I always really would love to like do a collaboration with him.
Yeah. So you think you're gonna keep doing solo stuff?
Yeah, Yeah, it's like it's a lot of fun for me, you know. And with Bayside, there's a natural, with any band really, there's like a natural cycle where you put out a record and then you tour the country, and then like you go to Europe and you go to Australia and you go to Asia and you go to Canada, and then you come back and you tour the US again. But then that's kind of it, because you can't just keep touring over and over on the same album. You can't play Atlanta every month, and like, because people are gonna stop coming, you know. So we always have these like long breaks of a couple of months where we just can't do Bayside tours, and I don't really like to take that much time without playing. So that's really how the whole solo thing even started, was as a way for me to not sit home for 3 months at a time.
Right.
So I think I'll do that for a long time.
Do you want to keep exploring different genres?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, when I first was doing the record, I have way more songs sitting around than what's on the EP. But when I first started doing it, I was a little nervous about like releasing the first thing, because I didn't know what style to make it. Because I had enough country songs to make it a country record, and I had enough reggae songs to make it a reggae record. I had enough rock songs to make it a rock record. So I spent a little time trying to figure out what kind of record I wanted to make. And then I decided that I specifically didn't want to make any kind of record. I wanted to totally mix it up so that it was non-genre specific, and I would always be free to release whatever kind of song I wrote, you know, and I would never have to sit on songs again for 7 years, you know. Like whatever kind of song I write, I could put it out as me.
So it's like touring with everybody. This is an awesome tour.
It's awesome.
I'm freaking out.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Chris and Matt, I listened to since I was in high school, you know, so that's really exciting for me. And Ace and Evan are both really awesome songwriters.
Yeah.
So just the 5 of us, it's cool. I mean, we like ride together every day in the van, and we like share hotel rooms and just hang out and talk about songs and music and tell tour stories.